हिल स्टेशन में, मार्केट्स में बिना मास्क पहने, बिना प्रोटोकॉल का अमल किए बिना भारी भीड़ का उमड़ना, मैं समझता हूं एक चिंता का विषय है, ये ठीक नहीं है।
तीसरी वेव अपने आप नहीं आती या अगली वेव अपने आप नहीं आएगी, ये हम ही पे निर्भर करता है कि उस लहर को हम कैसे बचा सकें।
Hello there, you're with CNN News 18. I'm Maha Siddiqui. The concern over COVID-19 continues as India is still to recover from the scars of the deadly second wave and is preparing itself for an inevitable third wave now. Prime Minister Narendra Modi will hold a meeting with the chief ministers of the 6 worst hit states affected by COVID. Discussions will be held in a short while from now with the chief ministers of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, Odisha, as well as Maharashtra and Kerala, 2 of the worst hit states for over months now. This meeting will be about the measures that can be taken to curb and control the spread and the preparations that are in place for the third wave. So which are the states that are the worst hit, and why is the Prime Minister specifically meeting these 6 states? This is because we have consistently seen since the first wave that some of these states have been problem areas in the country. For instance, the states of Maharashtra, Kerala, even earlier Gujarat, Uttar Pradesh. But now the focus is largely on the 6 states which are showing a rising trend in the number of active cases. So let's try and understand this first. If we take a period from the 10th of July here to the 16th of July, what can you see on this graph? That initially from the 10th of July, if you'll take a look at about 13th of July, what you'll see is the number of active cases were decreasing every day, dipping on the 13th of July, and then finally from the 15th of July they have been rising. Today again there is a slight dip though. This is what is concerning for the government now, which is looking at being able to manage the situation. If we take a look at some of the states here, Kerala is showing 11,425 cases, Maharashtra is showing about 7,000 cases, Tamil Nadu 2,500 cases, Andhra Pradesh 2,293 cases, Odisha and Karnataka also among the top 6 states that are showing a rising trend in the number of cases. Payal Mehta is joining us with more details. Payal, take us through what the Prime Minister is likely to convey to these states.
Well, of course, the Prime Minister is as concerned as anybody else about the rising number of cases, especially in certain states like Kerala and Maharashtra, where there's constantly a rise in the cases right throughout the year, even through last year's lockdown also. So obviously, the Prime Minister will want to understand from the states that what really is the matter. Is it that the principles of testing, tracing and tracking are not being followed accurately, and if at all is being followed accurately, is there a particular trend that they're releasing? What is the concern that they have right now? What is the condition in terms of the infrastructure as far as health infrastructure is concerned? Whether that is up to the mark or they need any other assistance as well. And of course, the Prime Minister will also be telling them that they should ramp up the vaccination drive. He'll also be giving them a guideline in terms of how to go about and make sure that they don't have any ground for any leniency, because we've seen the kind of cases that have come up in other places as well, where people have thronged to the hills, have thronged to the hill stations for vacations, etc. So all of these things are going to be highlighted by the Prime Minister. Of course, the Prime Minister's speech at the end of this meeting will be broadcast live, so it will be there for everybody to see in terms of what the Prime Minister conveys to them.
Payal, significantly you mentioned vaccination, and that stress will be that vaccination is conducted fast in some of these states that are showing a rising trend. Help us understand, Payal, are any of these states have they been laggards in being able to vaccinate their population? Have they resulted in vaccine wastage, something that has come to light?
The Prime Minister has often highlighted that the need to make sure that you don't, waste any vaccines, because, at the beginning, the Prime Minister had mentioned the name of our Andhra Pradesh for that matter. He had said that Andhra Pradesh was wasting close to 1% of the vaccines as well. And any vaccine wasted means vaccine will not be available for anybody to get inoculated with. So obviously that is something which is going to be extremely critical. Also, the fact that we've seen a little drop as far as the vaccination drive, percentage is concerned. The number of vaccines that we're inoculating at the beginning of probably the month of June until now has come down a little bit. So what is it that's really causing it? Because obviously the center is going to also allay the concerns of the states, and the center has put out the data that they've procured 66 crore more vaccines as far as the massive drive is concerned. And the center is pretty much on the track in providing the 135 crore vaccine doses that we've really spoken about. So obviously vaccination has to be done at a steadfast pace. They have to make sure that they encourage people and discourage them from getting influenced by any kind of vaccination hesitancy, if at all there is one.
Absolutely.
All of this is highlighted by the Prime Minister.
Absolutely, and the Prime Minister is going to address all those issues when he speaks to the Chief Ministers of the 6 worst hit states. Payal Mehta getting us those details. Let's take a look specifically at the state of Maharashtra now. That has been showing a rising trend. In fact, first wave, second wave, it has been badly hit in both of those, and therefore now it's important for it to prepare for an imminent third wave as well. If you look at the daily cases as far as Maharashtra is concerned, again we are taking a period of a week from the 10th of July to the 16th of July. So what do you see over here? On the 10th of July, we see about 9,000 cases. This is the fresh cases that come up every day, daily cases. And you are seeing a consistency there, some sort of a plateauing there around 8,000, 9,000 figure. But you see a dip on the 13th of July. Vinya has been pointing out that Maharashtra sees a dip only on days when there is less testing. Largely, it has remained in the bracket of 8,000 to 9,000. A slight dip again on the 14th of July, about 7,000 here. And then we are again seeing around 8,000 cases. So what is worrying currently is that if this is the continued second wave, as the Health Ministry is pointing out, then a plateauing of around 8,000, 9,000 cases per day is also not satisfactory or good enough, because that's the kind of numbers you are getting despite no fresh spike, and that too remains a cause of concern for Maharashtra. Let me go across to Herman Gomes, who's now joining us with more details. Herman, first of all, take us through how the vaccination is currently going on in Maharashtra, and has it resulted in any pockets seeing a dip in the number of cases, even though Maharashtra remains a cause of concern for the country?
Well, Maha, yes, as far as the infrastructure that needs to be set up in terms of vaccination centers, that was already being put in place by the state government, and here in Mumbai particularly it was the BMC. But what one is looking at is at different vaccination centers, the key problem is that the supply of the particular vaccines. Often what one is noticing at various places at vaccination centers is that, the timings, even though you have people lining up since morning, the drive only begins somewhere around 2 p.m. and then soon enough it ends. Now that is a key concern for the Maharashtra government. What they say is that they do not have adequate supply of vaccine. Also, another thing that needs to be pointed out is that because of the dosage, because the period of time between the two doses of the Covishield vaccine, the increased gap that has now been increased, that is one of the reasons as to what one is looking at. Besides that, Maha, what one is also looking at is that yesterday, for example, while there was a short dip in the number of positive cases in the last 24 hours, the death rate is still the same. So that is also another concern that is being raised. Besides that, here in Mumbai particularly, what one is noticing is that the COVID appropriate behavior that needs to be followed, that is not really done, particularly in public places like the markets. You people have people not wearing, masks. Some of them are even, in case if they are wearing a mask, it's not completely covering them, their face. So that in a way is also another problem. And this, mind you, Maha, is at a time when you do not have the full curbs being lifted. The BMC on its part was hoping to get at least 90 lakh residents to be vaccinated by the end of September, but that number does not now is becoming a bit of a problem in terms of supply, is what the BMC has been pointing out.
All right, it's really unfortunate that despite the number of deaths that Maharashtra has seen, that Mumbai has seen, both in the first and the second wave, people fail to adhere to COVID appropriate behavior, as Herman is pointing out. Let me go across to our health correspondent Runjhun Sharma, joining us with the very latest now. Runjhun, the Prime Minister is going to be addressing the Chief Ministers of the 6 worst hit states. What is the Health Ministry saying about the plateauing of numbers around 8,000 to 9,000 in Maharashtra and about 12,000 in the state of Kerala? These are very high numbers if we are looking at the second wave continuing and a plateauing there.
These are high numbers, yes. In fact, when you look at the overall numbers in the country as well, they've been fluctuating. Maha, today we've reported a little below the 40,000 mark, but yesterday we were over 41,000. We're talking about the 24 tally here. The overall active cases also on a rise. We're going to see the Prime Minister today hold a meeting with the 6 states, like you mentioned, some southern states like Kerala, Karnataka, Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh, but of course Maharashtra and Odisha as well. The Prime Minister also took a stock of situation in the northeastern states, all 7 states. And remember that when you talk about districts where the positivity rate is more than 10%, most of these districts are concentrated in some of these states where the Prime Minister is going to chair a meeting. We also saw the Health Secretary yesterday write to states saying that as far as public health measures are concerned, test, track, treat, as well as vaccinate, we need to do it more stringently now, considering that while the government, Maha, maintains that the second wave is not over, we're also seeing an increase in the R factor, the reproductive number of the virus. In about 30 odd days, we've seen that number increase from 0.72 to 0.95. That's a huge increase because the bigger the number, the bigger chances of one infected person infecting more people are. So that also remains a cause of concern, Maha. And as the world now, we're seeing many parts in the world, a third wave or a possible fourth wave they are looking at. And in that context, India needs to play it safe. We can't let our guard down. The Prime Minister, the Health Ministry has been very upset about how COVID norms were flouted in marketplaces, hill stations, tourist spots. That cannot be happening.
Absolutely. We need to continue to maintain vigilance against COVID-19. The threat is very much there. The danger looms large over us. And as citizens, we need to be maintaining COVID-appropriate behavior, masking up, maintaining social distancing, very important, hygiene as well. Let's now take a look at the state of Kerala. We've just gone through the figures of Maharashtra. Now let's see the numbers that are coming up in Kerala. And these numbers continue to remain very high. Remember, Kerala has been battling the pandemic since the first day because the first 3 cases that came from China to India were in Kerala. And Kerala has been doing some remarkable work as far as managing the situation is concerned, but nonetheless, they are not out of the woods. So, from the 10th of July again to the 19th of July is to the 16th of July, we are taking a figure that we are seeing cropping up daily in Maharashtra. So again, around 13,500 to 14,000 is the figure that was seen on the 10th and the 11th of July. Then we saw some sort of a dip over the next 2 days on the 13th of July, pretty much matching what we saw in Maharashtra as well. On the 13th of July, the numbers pretty drastically going down, becoming almost half of what we saw on the 11th of July. But again, the spike continues. And what we are seeing is pretty much, again, a plateauing, as you can see, over a period of a week, where we are seeing an average of about 14 to 14,500 cases coming up daily. Again, a matter of concern, as I've been consistently pointing out, that if we are still in the second wave, and this is not an indication of the third wave, as the Health Ministry is saying, then the numbers plateauing at even 14,000 or in the state of Maharashtra at around 8,000 is not satisfactory enough. This means that consistently people are getting sick. Some of them would be requiring hospitalization as well, and this could also increase the numbers. We're getting some updates now related to this because the centre is now opposing the holding of Kawad Yatra, looking at the state of affairs as far as COVID-19 is concerned in the state of Uttar Pradesh. Now, this is big news coming in here because the Uttar Pradesh government has been consistent on its stand that it wants to allow the Kawad Yatra to go. The Supreme Court had asked both the government of India and the Uttar Pradesh government to present their views to the Supreme Court, and now the centre, which is also a BJP government, is opposing what the Uttar Pradesh government of Yogi Adityanath is proposing. So it clearly shows that the central government is in sync with what the Uttarakhand government has done, that is ban the Kawad Yatra for this year, looking at the numbers. Anusha Soni is joining us with more details. Anusha, this kind of contradiction coming in, the Supreme Court taking the final call on this today itself then?
Well, we are yet to see that hearing to begin. Yes, affidavits have been fine. Positions are being cleared right now. And what we are hearing is that central government is in the view of being very cautious in terms of the Kavod Yatra. The exact contents of the affidavit will be available to us in just a bit from now. But the larger view which is coming in from the central government is that there should be no mass organization of any sort, any kind of religious congregation is not good in terms of the COVID-19 pandemic. The bench led by Justice Nariman has sat down right now. In about 10 to 15 minutes from now, the crucial hearing will begin. Solicitor General, Attorney General of India, both are going to appear in this matter. If the state of Uttar Pradesh has decided to go ahead with the Kavod Yatra, and the central government opposes the Kavod Yatra, as we're reporting, then it's not binding on the state of UP to really go ahead and cancel the Kavod Yatra. Yes, the recommendation can go from the central government, and both are BJP-ruled states, and UP is ruled by BJP as well. So, yes, there is a certain degree of political force and authority that does exist. But when the hearing happens, Maha, that's when we'll know nuanced positions coming in from both.
Anusha, but last time around, just a couple of days ago, when the Supreme Court had asked for responses from both the central government as well as the Uttar Pradesh government, it did, in fact, express that people of the country are perplexed by these contradictory stands that have been taken as far as congregations are concerned. What else had the Supreme Court said?
Well, the court is clearly concerned with the fact that you cannot have a movement which at its peak is about of 3 crore people. That's the figure that Pushkar Dhami on record had said and told News 18 India. And if at the Uttarakhand borders, the Kavod cannot cross it, they cannot go to Haridwar, then what really happens to the movement of these people which is happening within Uttar Pradesh and also outside the boundaries of UP in cities like Delhi and in places and states like Uttarakhand? What is the law and order situation that we are really looking at? The bigger challenge here is also the fact which the Supreme Court said is that there is a larger confusion that prevails. Because unlike Kumbh, which is about akhadas, Kavod is a very segregated, fragmented kind of a congregation that happens from different places. And if that congregation goes ahead, it becomes almost impossible to control it. We may theoretically talk about RT-PCR tests and social distancing protocols, but it's almost impossible to implement these measures if the numbers are so high. And that is clearly the concern. Not the first time, Maha, that the court has taken a very cautious position when it comes to religious congregation. Whether it's about the Jagannath Rath Yatra or various other petitions that have come up for various festivals in the last 1 year, the court has always said, please go with your common sense. No God would be angry if you follow common sense and protect human rights.
Anusha, stay on with us. Pranshu Mishra, Uttar Pradesh Bureau Chief, is also joining us with more details. Pranshu, the centre is opposing the holding of the Kavod Yatra as opposed to what the Uttar Pradesh government has decided. Was this not communicated to the UP government, the sense that the centre has over the issue?
The centre saying in Supreme Court that the Ganga Jal should be made available at selected spots, and then the devotees should perform the religious, duties at that very spot. That means that the indication probably is that if you allow mass build-up on the road, but in specific locations, the religious ceremonies that will be conducted. So the sense within the UP government also is that, rather than allowing to build up the large mass mobilization and large mass movement across several hundred kilometers between different districts and Uttar Pradesh and Uttarakhand, it's better that, this number should be curtailed. And we heard DGP of Uttar Pradesh yesterday saying that few mechanisms would be put in place. For example, the RT-PCR negative report for people coming from different states. And also only those people would be encouraged to go who have a particular vow or who have taken a vow as far as this Kavod season is concerned. So clearly, the centre's stand has made things a bit difficult for the state government. But I feel that it somewhere also leaves a scope for holding the Kavod Yatra in a very symbolical way. What is UP government going to respond in Supreme Court? That would be, made clear during the course of the day today. But I really feel, think that the government of Uttar Pradesh clearly, had a rethink and will surely not go ahead with organizing the Kavod Yatra on the scale as it has initially prepared for.
But isn't it already reflecting, Pranshu, that the centre and the UP government were not on the same page, and the centre and the Uttarakhand government, in fact, were in sync?
Yes, that's right. The centre and the state government are clearly not on the same page as far as the, the level of organizing the event is concerned. The centre is absolutely against the large procession or the Kavod Yatras covering inter-districts or, moving across several districts. The centre's affidavit or the reply also says that the Ganga...
All right, we seem to have lost our audio link there with Pranshu Mishra. Let me go across to Anusha for more on this. Anusha, again, the Supreme Court said that the citizens were perplexed. Now it appears that there is more, there is more confusion if both the centre and the Uttar Pradesh government, which are BJP ruled, have such varying viewpoints over a religious congregation.
Yes, absolutely, Ma. I'm just going to give some perspective as I read through that affidavit which has been filed by the central government. So one of the key things that centre says, and yes, the conclusion from that affidavit is that centre is opposing the Kawad Yatra as it used to happen traditionally, the movement from cities in UP to Haridwar and even till Gomukh and various other parts in Uttarakhand. So yes, in that form, the central government is saying, no, we cannot have a Kawad Yatra in that manner. According to me, this is the best central, a carefully treaded central position that the union government could take. We have a
All right, we are losing the audio there with Anusha now. Let me go back to Pranshu Mishra for more. Pranshu, we were talking about how the centre and the Uttar Pradesh government don't seem to be on the same page, but now with the centre opposing this move in the Supreme Court, will there be more pressure on the UP government to either ban or really look at very curtailed numbers for Kawad Yatra?
Of course, absolutely. That is no denying the fact that the centre stand has come in as a moment for reality check for the state government. And, it is on a very expected lines, keeping the fact in mind that Prime Minister, even yesterday and even before that, has been continuously reminding the people as to how cautious they should be. He has even expressed concerns on large build-up of tourists in hill states of Uttarakhand and in Northeast. So that was very much expected. Now, what the centre has said before the Supreme Court, that clearly diffuses state government's entire plan to hold the Kawad Yatra on a large scale. Though state government has been saying, and Yogi Adityanath in his interview to Network 18 also said that we'll try to curtail the numbers, we'll try to, get into dialogue.
All right, let me go back to Anusha. Anusha, what does, all right, we don't seem to have Anusha as well at the moment. Let me quickly point out the details that Anusha has been bringing to us with regards to the centre's position on holding of the Kawad Yatra. Now, the centre is telling the Supreme Court that they are not in favor of a large congregation that the Kawad Yatra could turn up to be. Although, remember, Kawad Yatra is different from what we have seen in the Kumbh, because in Kumbh, the akharas organize the pilgrims. In Kawad Yatra, sometimes it's one individual who is walking on foot to the nearest spot where they can get Ganga Jal, that is the water of river Ganga. However, there can be a congregation when people are halting for the night, or once they finally reach Ma Ganga as as part of their pilgrimage. So clearly, under those circumstances, how is it that state governments like Uttar Pradesh that say that they want to hold the Kawad Yatra, how are they going to take care of the numbers? How are they going to curtail the numbers? Can they have a check on the number of people in the night shelters stopping or halting together overnight while en route to fetching the Ganga Jal? All those are big questions that remain. The protocol as per the Uttar Pradesh government will be set. But considering what we have seen in Kumbh, the central government is being extremely cautious, because remember, even during the Kumbh Mela, the numbers, it was expected that numbers will be curtailed as well as RT-PCR tests will be done. But somehow that went awry. So now we have with us Vinod Bansal of the VHP. विनोद जी, फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल आप हमको ये बताइए कि जो सेंटर ने इस वक्त अपोज किया है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में कि कावड़ यात्रा इस वक्त नहीं होनी चाहिए क्योंकि कोविड चल रहा है, उस पर VHP की क्या प्रतिक्रिया है?
देखिए, वैसे मुझे पता नहीं पूरा कि सेंटर ने क्या व्यू पॉइंट लिया है सुप्रीम कोर्ट में और सुप्रीम कोर्ट ने क्या कहा है, बट हमारा एक सम्मान्य बात है कि भाई कावड़ यात्रा पर किसी भी तरह का कोई प्रतिबंध नहीं होना चाहिए। कोविड के प्रोटोकॉल का पालन करते हुए हमारी आस्था और विश्वास का भी सम्मान किया जाना चाहिए। हम हमेशा से हिंदू समाज जो है ना, ये कानून का पालन करने वाला, संविधान का पालन करने वाला समाज रहा है और रहेगा, लेकिन साथ ही हमारी आस्था का सम्मान भी होना चाहिए। कुछ न कुछ मार्ग जो है राज्य सरकार को या केंद्र सरकार इन्वॉल्व है तो केंद्र सरकार को निकालना चाहिए, जिससे कावड़ यात्रा सुचारू रूप से चल सके। और जिस प्रकार उत्तर प्रदेश सरकार ने प्रयास किया है, तो मुझे लगता है उत्तराखंड सरकार को भी आगे आना चाहिए और कांवड़ यात्रा का जो भी प्रबंध करना है, जो भी कोविड के नियमों का पालन करते हुए जो कर्फ्स लगाने हैं आप कर्फ्स लगाइए, बट सिंपली सेइंग वी विल नॉट होल्ड द यात्रा, आई थिंक इट इज नॉट गुड।